Hey everybody. Sorry I haven't done much videos for the last couple weeks. I'm doing the best I can do with all that's going on. Sue and I are doing our best. So let me get Village's news going here. A driver reportedly suffered a medical episode prior to her van overturning near Savannah Center. The woman was driving the van at 3:45 p.m. Tuesday westbound on El Camino Real when she suffered the medical episodes. The van hit a curb and overturned, according to the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The woman was transported by ambulance to UF Health, the village's hospital. The village's public safety department also responded to the scene of the single accident. No citations were issued. Be careful, people. This is a retirement community, basically elderly people. Anything can happen at any time. There's a lot of people on medications. This is not the first time this has happened. There was one here a couple of years ago that was tragic. Tragic. A man, I believe it was a SUV and a Cadillac, I believe it was, had a medical episode over by Colony Shopping Plaza. Went across the highway, over to the golf cart trail, hit two elderly women in their golf cart, killed them both. Be very aware. Don't be driving your golf cart with your cell phone in your ear and not paying attention. Always pay attention. Have fun. Always pay attention. A judge has ordered a villager out of her man friend's home prior to an altercation which landed her in jail. Deanna Lynn Miller, 74, who has resided for several years at 1956 Glenmont Court in the village of St. Charles, was arrested Thursday morning on a charge of aggravated battery. The couple had been arguing when she threw a cup of water in his face. According to an arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office, Miller went on to strike him on the side of the head with the cup, which was described in the arrest report as clear, hard plastic. She is facing felony charges of battery on a person over the age of 65. Florida has that. Anybody out there that wants to be a tough guy, you assault anybody 65 years of age or older. Assault, throwing water in a person's face, that's assault. In case you don't know, taking your finger if you're arguing with somebody and poking them in the chest, that's assault. That's a felony charge here. So best to do is just bite your lip and move on. All recreation centers in the villages will be closed Christmas Day. Arraignment date set for Sumter commissioners facing perjury charges. An arraignment date has been set for two Sumter County commissioners facing perjury charges. Commissioner Gary Search and Orrin Miller are set to be arraigned at 9 a.m. January 18 in front of Judge Peter Brigham. The commissioners, who are both residents of the villages, were arrested last week. Both are free on bond. In March, the Office of State Attorney for the 5th Judicial Circuit received two citizen complaints alleging Florida Sunshine Law violations during a Sumter County Commission meeting in February. The complaint identified the violators as Miller, his wife Angie Fox, and Search. The initial allegations were that Miller was using his wife as a conduit to communicate ongoing commission agenda-related items to other commissioners, specifically Search, in hopes to sway the outcome of the issue at hand, according to the arrest report on file. Subpoenas were issued to Verizon for the commissioners' phone records. It is alleged that between November 2020 and June 2021, Miller and Search had communicated via their personal cell phones with one another over 40 times. Many of these phone calls were either just before or just after Sumter County Commission meetings. Both commissioners were called in for interviews, and both reportedly denied phone calls had taken place, leading to the perjury charges. Duke Energy has proposed a fuel adjustment in a way that it says would limit the impact of volatile natural gas prices on customer bills. Duke Energy Florida uses natural gas as its main fuel source to generate electricity at most of its power plants. The change would take effect in March 2022. The company does not earn any profit from the fluctuating fuel costs. Since January 2021, natural gas prices have increased almost 45% and remained volatile due to a number of unique events that drove up prices and caused supply uncertainty. This is not impacting not only utility companies, but also a variety of other industries that rely on natural gas as well.
What's the future of cooking?
Sous vide.
The CV.
Meet sous vide.
the magical all-in-one countertop kitchen robot. Sous vide saves you time and lets you cook delicious meals for you or your whole family. The best part? It takes up less space than your microwave. Planning ahead? Simply load your ingredients, schedule dinner, and sous vide does the rest. With its revolutionary cool-to-cook technology, your ingredients stay refrigerated until it's time to start cooking. Sous vide's multiple zones ensure that everything is ready at precisely the same time. In a hurry? With Rapid Cook Mode, you can go from fully frozen ingredients to a perfectly cooked dinner in less than 25 minutes. Whether you want to bake a cake, roast, steam, broil, slow cook, sous vide, or even
3 people killed in a fiery crash which shut down part of I-75 near Wildwood. Let me just say, we just got back from Indiana, and I was trying to avoid as much of the Christmas rush traffic as I possibly could. We run into quite a bit of it, I'll say, from just north of Knoxville, Tennessee, all the way down through Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was so bad that I finally pulled into a rest stop, and I stayed there. It was in the middle of the afternoon when I pulled in. I was tired of fighting this stuff. I got an RV, I don't have to put up with it. And we just turned the TVs on, fired the generator up, had ourselves some lunch. I even laid down, took a nap, and when I got up, it was dark. The traffic was not near as bad as it was when I laid down. It was still there, but we moseyed on. And around midnight or so that night is when the traffic kind of got better where we could keep going. And that's when I decided that I was driving straight back to Florida. I wasn't stopping anymore. I wanted to beat as much as I possibly could. And by the time I got to Lakeland, Florida, it was 6 a.m. and I just boogied it on back to the house. But people drive crazy. Everybody's heading to Florida for Christmas, it seems like. They drive crazy. The closer they get to Florida, the faster they go. I think Sumter County's been alerted. Florida Highway Patrol's been alerted from what I'm reading. They're going to start cracking down on people wanting to run 85 and 90 mile an hour. They're going to start cracking down. They're going to set it up. And I hope they do, because there's just no sense in it. A 50-year-old daughter will lose her license for 5 years after her second arrest for driving under the influence within a 2-year period here in Florida's friendliest hometown. Pamela Diane Hess, 50, who lives with her mother at 1221 Allaire Loop in the village of Fernandina, was sentenced last week in Sumter County Court after pleading no contest to charges of driving under the influence, leaving the scene of an accident, and driving while license suspended. She had been arrested October 20th and bonded out 3 days later. However, she was booked at the jail again October 28th when it was discovered that her most recent arrest was in violation of her probation. Hess remained in jail until this past Tuesday, when she was released as part of her sentence, included time served. I don't know what to say about some of these 50-year-old children living with their mothers and getting drunk all the time, and people driving with no license here all the time. I just don't get it. This is an old story. I want to give you an update on it. Those of you that follow me, you've seen these pictures before. You know what my feeling is about it. I don't apologize for it. An Iowan arrested on a drunk driving charge in a golf cart has hired an attorney who scored a significant victory in 2019 for another client charged in a golf cart mishap in the villages, which resulted in a woman's death. A golf cart mishap. This guy was drunk. She was drunk. Both of them were drunk. He turns a corner. She falls out of the car, bangs her head. She's out. A mishap. He drags her over to bushes and threw her in bushes to hide her. Gets in his golf cart and he goes home. That's not a mishap, as far as I'm concerned. That's involuntary manslaughter. She died. Austin Oliver Shane, 33, of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, was arrested November 26 after he was driving a golf cart that strayed onto State Road 44 near Brownwood. He appeared to be intoxicated and had to use his left hand to brace himself on the golf cart during a traffic stop, according to an arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. He stumbled and was unable to keep up his posture. An officer asked Shane to take part in field sobriety exercises, but he refused. He also refused to provide breath samples. Well, that's mandatory loss of license right there. Mandatory. Shane has pleaded not guilty in the case and has retained an attorney, Andrew Moses. He made headlines in 2019 when he successfully defended Timothy Jacob Foxworthy, who escaped with a probation sentence in connection with the death of Shelley Osterhout. She had been a passenger in a golf cart Foxworthy was driving after a night of drinking at Brownwood. He was at the wheel of his parents' golf cart, and he made an abrupt U-turn at Osterhout, was in the Villages visiting her father. She fell out and suffered a fatal head injury. Foxworth was seen dragging her body into a flower bed and arrested after fleeing the scene. Foxworth was charged with driving under the influence and DUI manslaughter. A 33-year-old villager has been ordered to make a mandatory court appearance in connection with an alleged golf club attack on her much older ex-husband. Jenny Lynn, I don't even know how to pronounce that name, Frazier, was ordered this past Wednesday by Judge Richard Singletary to appear January 3rd in Lake County Court in the case in which she is facing a felony charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She allegedly wielded a golf club during a May 6 altercation with her 69-year-old husband at their home at 715 Truman Avenue in the village of Silver Lake on the historic side of the Villages. He had divorced Frazier in April, but she continued to live at the residence. He had arranged to pay her for a vehicle they owned together, but he had returned home to find her putting her personal items in the car. They began to argue and struggle over a suitcase, according to an arrest report of Lady Lake Police Department. Frazier, who stands 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 110 pounds, went to the garage and returned with a golf club.
Grammarly can help you write quickly and confidently, so you never have to slow down at work.
She advanced toward him and held the golf club over his head, threatening to hit him. Her ex-husband, who retreated and then pulled out a gun, asked a native of the Philippines to put down the golf club. However, she continued walking toward him and asked her ex-husband if he was actually going to shoot her. He said he was in fear of his life. He provided a sworn affidavit with intent to prosecute. He had obtained an order of protection that will remain in effect till May 22. In Florida, those of you who don't understand what he just said, that he was in fear of his life, that gives him the legal right to shoot her, because we have what they call standalone law here, that if you feel fear of your life, you have the right to defend yourself, and that includes shooting somebody. I don't know all the intricate details of that law, but just know we have that law. There's been many security guards here that were charged for different things, and they were found innocent for the standalone law. Opening date targeted for new restaurant right outside the Villages. That'd be that Chipotle. I've never been to a Chipotle. I don't know anything about it. Filipino and American friends gather for party in the village of Fenny. The villager was jailed after she failed to show up in court in a stolen pickup truck case. Dana Sue Johnson, 56, who lives in the Chadwick Villas in the village of Piedmont, was being held without bond at the Lake County Jail after her arrest this past week on a warrant charging her with failure to appear. She is facing a felony charge of grand theft auto in connection with the theft of the red 2005 Chevrolet Silverado pickup in 2019 from Brown's Auto Sales in Leesburg. She had visited a dealership and snatched the vehicle's keys, according to the affidavit of probable cause from the Leesburg Police Department. She returned later and drove the pickup through a fence at the dealership. Both incidents were caught on surveillance. Johnson was also arrested earlier this year in the theft of a 1996 Ford F-250 truck from a man in Wildwood. A woman who ran naked at a local Aldi's grocery store has been freed after 8 months in jail. Mandy Michelle West, 29, had been lodged at the Sumter County Detention Center since her arrest May 7th, when she was completely naked and climbed into a car with an autistic 17-year-old whose mother had stepped into the Aldi grocery store at US 301 and County Road 466 in Oxford. She was released this past week after finally posting bond in the case. While she was behind bars, she found herself in more trouble after an altercation with detention staff at the jail. She continues to face multiple criminal charges. Don't do drugs, kids. This is what happened. You do something stupid. Yorkie from Village of Belvedere confides a wish list during visit with Santa. A Village of Bonnybrook woman was arrested after she was caught driving despite an insurance-related suspension of her license. Melissa Jane Berg, 43, who lives at 2112 Callaway Drive, was at the wheel of a gray Honda Odyssey van at about 9 p.m. Thursday when she was pulled over by Wedgwood Lane and Campus Circle at Buffalo Ridge Plaza. A Sumter County Sheriff's deputy ran the license plate and discovered the vehicle's registered owner's license had been suspended July 28 due to an insurance issue. During the traffic stop, the Fort Lauderdale native complained that she had been pulled over earlier in the day and issued a notice to appear for possession of drug paraphernalia. She said she was having a bad day. Bless her heart. Just say no, kids. Historic landmark demolished as U.S. Highway 27-441 construction ramps up. Yeah, they're doing a lot of construction on 27-441. That's where all the traffic is at for one reason or another. Yeah, that goes from Leesburg to Orlando and from Leesburg to Ocala and even further north from there. It's a very busy area. Well, the Orange Barn has been there for a long time. It is, those of you that hasn't come down yet for this winter, it is no longer there. Gone. Remember the guy that had the villa and had all kinds of weird stuff decorated out front, and they gave him an order to get it cleaned up or face charges? I forget what all he had out there, but he had like some weird stuff. Well, let me give you a little update here. See, I don't think the guy was nuts. He could be, but I don't think he was. I think it was his way of just people complained about it, and so he was just trying to irritate his neighbors a little bit. A villager facing a gun charge has cleaned up his problematic property. The Community Development District 10 Board of Supervisors on Thursday afternoon discussed the home of Scott Marsden, who lives at 1399 Viola Court in the Layton Villas in the village of Dunedin. He has been facing fines for his refusal to remove numerous lawn ornaments on display in his yard. The board and district staff did not appear to be aware that Marsden has finally removed the illicit lawn ornaments, which included an alligator's head, from his property. It was noted that fines has racked up, remain unpaid. It wasn't his first run-in with community standards. In March, Marsden had been ordered to remove rock that had been put down without the approval of Architectural Review Committee. He removed the rock and put down sod and brought in the lawn ornaments. In July, Marsden was arrested at Citizens First Bank of Colony Plaza. He had been banned from the bank and returned in violation of a legal order. At the time of his arrest, he was found to have a gun in his golf cart. That case is still pending in court. Florida's friendliest hometown. By the way, let me just say that I want to thank the developer and his offices. They invited me to a closed kind of private get-together, so to speak. And they wanted to discuss any suggestions or any comments that we may have about the future of the villages. I was willing to go, discuss some of the things the way I see it, and then, of course, it's up to them to pick and choose what they want to actually do. And I kept asking if I could video. The first two responses of mine about video, because this is what I do, I didn't get a response at all. And then I got a second invitation to come to that, and they said, we really need to know now so we can reserve you a seat. And I sent them another one saying, can I video? Well, this person did respond this time. It's part of the developer's company. I don't even know who the guy was, saying that he said, what is it you're wanting to video? And I just said, the meeting. I said, this is what I do. If I can't video, I just can't see why I'm even coming down there, because the way I see it, they're not going to listen to me. This is a way of making problems go away. Let them yell, let them scream, and then when they get done screaming, then they go home. And that's kind of how I see it. But, I was willing to go and give my opinion about things, and if they want to listen, fine. If they didn't, that's totally up to them. And then he said, well, this is just a private meeting just to be able to talk about it. There's not going to be any videoing at all. Well, maybe not. I don't know, if there is or not. But so I sent him an email back nice saying, if I can't video, then I respectfully decline the offer, but thank you. And that was the end of that. Just letting you know. Also, the Newsy News that came here and interviewed me, that happened. I got a link to it, and I watched it. I don't know if I can send the link out. Here or not for the rest of you to watch it, be interested in seeing it. But and it may not even be out anymore on that link there, because you can stop a link whenever you want. But anyway, it ended up being about, because when they come and interview, when a major news company comes and interviews you, here's the thing about that. I'm just throwing this in with my 2 cents. You really don't know exactly what it's going to be about. And the people that's videoing you and everything, I'm not sure they really understand what the video is going to be about, because it's all about editing. I've said this before. They can edit things any way they want. And so anyway, I did it because I was trying to advertise my YouTube channel more than anything. And they didn't really do that on the video at all. But it was a nice little thing that they put in there. But what the gist of the news report really was how building here in Florida, there's so much building going on everywhere. The Villages is the largest retirement community, I think, in the world, but definitely in the United States, and the fastest growing. So that's why they pick here, because it's the largest. And it ended up being how it impacts everything else. Do we think that how all this building going on is impacting global warming, impacting natural resources, impacting the wildlife, impacting the aquifer and the fresh water we have? And that's really what the whole thing ended up being. And my interview was kind of part of that. And it is what it is. But I'm just letting you know, I had no idea what it was going to actually be about, how they was going to put it together. But that's how they ended up putting it together. Well, I think that's all the video you need, right? Well, let me do one more. Here's one more. For those of you that don't have a will, this happens all the time here. I'm sure it happens all over Florida and all the retirement communities. Do your neighbors a favor or something. Don't do this. Just don't do it. If you have no heirs, you don't like your family, you don't want to leave them anything, I don't care. Leave it to a church. Leave it to a charity. But just don't leave it with nothing. Unpaid fines are beginning to add up at a home of a deceased villager. The home in question is located at 1340 Hollyberry Place in the Holly Hill Villas and has been found in violation of decompliance. The Community Development District 7 Board of Supervisors received an update on the property Thursday morning during their monthly meeting at Seabreeze Recreation Center. An initial fine of $150 has been imposed for mold growing on the home, and another $250 fine has been added to the total for maintaining overgrown grass and weeds. Gary Michael Kozvinsky purchased a villa in 2007 for $142,000. He died February 23rd. His wife died in 2009. The utilities at the home are past due. A complaint was received July 14th about overgrown grass, weeds, and mold on the home. The violation was verified the following day. The property appears vacant. According to the community standards, there has been no success in contacting anyone responsible for the property who might be an heir. Listen, it's stupid to do this, because he bought it for $142,000, give or take. That home today, if it's in good shape, and you really never know till you go inside it. If somebody would have taken over this property as soon as the last owner passed away, like a son or a daughter, even if they didn't want the home, they could have put it up for sale, and that home is probably easily worth $200,000, and maybe even more than that, depending on the style inside and all this and that. There's just no reason for it, so don't do it. That being said, I'm gonna get out of here, and the only thing I'm going to say, in a nice way, Merry Christmas to everybody. That's tomorrow, I know. And be careful. Drive safe. Come to the Villages for Christmas, and you're going to borrow Grandpa's golf cart to go play around. Be careful. Be safe. Don't do something stupid. Don't put 6 people in a 2-seater golf cart. Don't have kids hanging on the back of the golf cart like a bunch of golf clubs driving around. Just have fun and just be safe and be respectful. That being said, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I'll see all of you on Wednesday Night Live. Remember, all super chats, all super stickers, 100% is going to be donated to the Children's Wish Foundation. Did it last year, we're going to do it this year. How can you not give to those children, especially at Christmas time? Hopefully you'll come, hopefully you'll donate. We appreciate it. And for me and all the WNL crew, Merry Christmas.
We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe, and I've gotten you